What's up everyone, hope you guys are doing good, and today's video is focused on OnePlus. So we're gonna be talking about the one thing that is bothering me about the company OnePlus and what I dislike about OnePlus. So I'll be giving you my opinions about OnePlus and why I am disliking OnePlus in the current scenario and in the current time, and what is the thing that they did wrong. And when OnePlus came up with the OnePlus One, I was instantly hooked. It was a unicorn phone, a perfect phone for an enthusiast or a geek buyer because it had all the things that a geek buyer wants. It had the best spec or top of the line specs at that point of time. It had a stock experience with Cyanogen mod, which is again enhanced with features. So it had Cyanogen mod out of the box. It had all the processing power, all the flagship hardware, and a very beastly battery life. So it was the perfect phone. Although it wasn't that widely available and there were production issues and delays and it was only sold after invitations, it was a great phone all in all. Although the camera was lacking in that, OnePlus One wasn't having the best and the top of the line camera at that point of time, but it was okay considering the price point, which was priced very competitively, and it was very affordable for the enthusiast buyers. It was only about like $350. So it was very aggressively priced, and it was the perfect value for money phone at that point of time. So after that, OnePlus came with OnePlus 2, and with that they ditched their invitation system, but the phone wasn't that of a flagship killer which they advertised. Although they did put Snapdragon 810, which was top of the line chip, it had its own issues with heating and stuff, and heavy thermal throttling at high temperatures, but it was a good effort all in all. So after that came the OnePlus 3, and OnePlus 3 was a very good device. It was a proper flagship killer at that point of time. It had all the things that an enthusiast will look in a phone. Although the screen wasn't like flagship quality at that time, but they need to cut costs somewhere to bring all of these good specifications for a geek buyer at a low price compared to the other companies. It had 6 gigabits of RAM, which no other company offered at that point of time, and the screen wasn't the flagship quality, but it was again a very nice screen. And the camera wasn't flagship quality, hands down. Other cameras perform way better than that, but that wasn't the main target of that company. And it was after OnePlus 3 that things became a little messy for me, at least. So they refreshed it with OnePlus 3T. Exact same body, exact same everything, a slightly higher capacity battery and higher megapixel cameras, and updated processor, which was the Snapdragon 821 at that time. So it wasn't a big deal for me because it was like the S version of iPhone, the same body, same everything, but improved specs and all that stuff. It wasn't a very big deal. Okay, so after OnePlus 3T, they released OnePlus 5 in June 2017. So here's where when they went really wrong. OnePlus 5 was a great phone, but it missed on one major thing that people wanted from flagship phone at that point of time: the full edge-to-edge displays, because all the flagships, all the leading companies were offering full edge-to-edge displays, and all the boxy design phones with 16:9 aspect ratio screens were looking really outdated as compared to them. It had still the top of the line specs like Snapdragon 835, 8 gigabytes of RAM, which no other company offered. Camera were still okayish, not the best in the class, but still okayish. And it had NFC, fingerprint scanner, and all the bells and whistles that you expect from a flagship phone, because they advertised their phone as the flagship killer. So it missed out on waterproofing, water resistance, and wireless charging, of course, but it had a headphone jack, which is a much appreciated feature these days. So OnePlus 5 is a very solid device and a very solid release from them. But just after 5 months of releasing OnePlus 5, they refreshed it with OnePlus 5T. Now the real problem for me with the OnePlus 5T was being a big change, that was the screen. We all spend a lot of time looking at the front of the phone rather than its back. So the back of the phone is still unchanged, but there is a big change in the screen. The screen is now full edge to edge 6.0 inches of taller aspect ratio screen, which is much parallel with the flagship release this year. So it makes the OnePlus 5 looks a way older phone when kept side by side. So it is a disappointment for someone who bought the OnePlus 5. And to be very honest, 6 months of an update cycle is still unnecessary and redundant, even if you consider how fast the technology is growing these days. At least give us 1 year of full flagship experience, OnePlus, please. You cannot just update your phone every 6 months. Not all people are having 400-500 bucks of money to spend on a phone every 6 months or so. So that's my biggest concern with OnePlus. What it is actually feeling like is OnePlus is releasing beta phones. Like, yeah, we all have heard about beta software, beta apps, but now take it. This is 2017. Now take beta phones. OnePlus 5 seems like a better version of OnePlus 5T. OnePlus released OnePlus 5, took feedback from the public, see what they wanted, and made a new phone just after 5 months. So OnePlus 3 was again a beta phone from them. They took all the public feedback, came up with a new device. Why can't companies just wait for a little longer than 1 year so that they can put all of the things they want in the phone and give people the best phone they can make at that point? To me, the OnePlus 5T seems a bad decision from them. They should have waited for 2 or 3 months and came up with that full HD displays in the OnePlus 5 only. We all are having reviews of the OnePlus 5T, and I admit it is a great phone, great value for money device, but we should take our time to look at the bad aspects so that we can make companies do even better. If you guys agree with me, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. And thanks a lot for watching the video.